Welcome to Niv-Mizzet Reborn. Hope you're excited for some Storm action, and we're playing against Atraxa, so hopefully this should be a pretty fun match. And as far as opening hand goes, there's no reason to mulligan. I like this. We've got D-Spark, which is definitely going to take care of Atraxa. We have Sunder and Growth to deal with any sort of fast mana accelerant from our opponent, and we've got Sentinel Tower, which is a really fun way to try to close the game out. So I like it. Let's lead off with Overgrown Tomb. Yeah, I like that. We'll lead off with Overgrown Tomb, and then have that come into play tapped. And then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. So we're playing Niv-Mizzet Reborn. This is 5-color Storm. If you've not seen this deck before, and it is a ton of fun. I love playing it. That's why you've seen it more often than the other War of the Spark deck. So whenever Niv enters the battlefield, reveal the top 10 cards of your library. For each color pair, choose a card that's exactly those colors from among them. Put the chosen cards in your hand. The rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. If you don't know what that means, basically it's just, if you grab a Orzhov card, you can grab a Selesnya card, you can grab a Rakdos card, whatever floats your boat. That's kind of what we're going for. So I guess at this point, they've got Temple Garden, Creeping Tar Pit. We could go for a fetch line. I think we just lead off with Taiga. I like that. Taiga Uppercut, and then anything else we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. So we're playing against Atraxa. Flying Visuals, Death Touch, and Lifelink. Then at the beginning of your in-step Prolife rate. So we'll see what sort of flavor of Atraxa we're playing against, whether it's Planeswalkers or Control or good stuff, whatever that may be. It's probably something good if they've got the full art lands like that. But we're both kind of getting off to a let's just deploy our mana base, and then we'll see where that takes us. So I kind of like that. The only thing that we want to rip into is just a little bit more card advantage. That's kind of what we're looking for at this point right now. So what are we going to go for? I guess we go Polluted Delta. Yeah, that'll work. Get down Polluted Delta, then pass the turn. So we did cover both commanders. Let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors, MTGOTraders. If you need to build your very own Niv-Mizzet Storm to take over the city of Ravnica, be sure to check out MTGOTraders.com. They've got you covered for any sort of commander needs, whether it's Modern, Legacy, Penny Dreadful, maybe in the fun, casual format you and your buddies play that's just nothing but lightning bolts, whatever that is. Hey, have some fun. MTGOTraders will make sure that you can get the job done. And also, shout out to inkgaming.com. You can use coupon code JOLT to get 10% off your order and help the channel at the same time. Let's say you're in the market for like a playmat or something like that. I've got some cool designs over there, so actually go to the website, type in JOLT, and you can see some of the cool playmat designs. Let's go Terminate. Yeah, I like that. We're going to go Terminate. We're going to get rid of this Oracle. We don't want our opponent to have a ton of extra land drops. So we're going to go, make sure we tap down for red. Get rid of Oracle. We're going to crack Polluted Delta. Now, we do need to grab another blue source, at least at some point. So let's crack Polluted Delta. Maybe a blue-white? I think that would be pretty good. Let's grab Hollowed Fountain, have that come into play tap. Not going to pay 2 life. And then, but yeah, long story short, check out inkgaming.com. Have some fun with there. And last but not least, I started a Patreon. So if you'd like to contribute to the Patreon, there's a link down in the description below. You can get your name at the beginning and the ending of the credits. And yeah, there you go. And if you can't contribute to the Patreon, no problem at all. Just tell somebody about the channel. I would greatly appreciate that. So let's go for Tower. Yeah, I like that. Let's go Tower. We're going to get, well, I kind of want to get ahead on mana now that I think about it. So let's go Chromatic Lancer, because one of the things with this deck that you do have to watch out for with Chromatic Lancer, or not with Chromatic Lancer, but is, this is a 5-color deck that's running a lot of different 5-colored cards. Sometimes when you build a 5-color deck, also, yeah, it's free time. We can have some fun now, so always like to say that part. But when you're building a 5-color deck, like I built Ramos 5-color Guildgate deck, and one of the ways that it's kind of technically, it's just a little bit more of a Sultai based deck, splashing for a few other colors. But with this Niv-Mizzet deck, we're all over the place, and so that's kind of one of those opportunities that you want to make sure you have the correct mana base so we can get down Niv-Mizzet. So I'm always worried about fetching the wrong amount of lands, and our opponent is going for the -2. And what creature did they return back to their hand? Let's see if we can't get that Ooh, they're going to go for Unravel the Aether. Send that back into the command zone. Yeah, I think that at this point, yeah, that's fine. Because what we can end up doing, we can go Angrath next turn. We can make them sacrifice Liliana, which I think I kind of do like doing that. Oh, that's what they brought back Oracle. That's probably what they brought back to their hand. So we'll probably still, we can go for Angrath, force the issue on Liliana, just to get rid of that extra value. Or do we want to end up going for Niv-Mizzet to kind of fuel our hand? Yeah, because if we actually end up going, we go Angrath's Rampage, that's going to be 1, 2, 3. We could try to Manamorphose, but this is one of those cards you definitely want to hold on to. So let's do this. Let's go for Angrath's Rampage. We're going to make our opponent sacrifice a Planeswalker. I like forcing this issue. You know, we can go for Angrass Rampage, and that's going to get rid of Liliana. We don't have to fight this +1 the entire game. There's a lot of times where you can go for that -7, and you know, if they get to that ultimate, they end up with a ton of value on the board. So let's just go and pass the turn to our opponent. We could try to, I don't think we made the land drop for the turn, so we could try to, no we did, we made Flooded Strand. So what we could try to do is we could try to Manamorphose and get a little bit extra mana in our mana pool and go for Sentinel Tower, but Manamorphose, this is one of those cards that once we get down Thousand Year Storm, we can really get some good storm action going with Manamorphose. So let's get the reveal zone popped up. See, your opponent's going to grab a mana drain, so we'll get that, leave that up so we can kind of see what's going on. So we're going to just kind of get into this weird holding pattern against our opponent. If we end up going for Niv-Mizzet, that's going to be a huge target for mana drain, and I don't blame them. You see that bust coming from a mile away. So we'll try to slow roll some of the stuff out. If we end up going Sentinel Tower, I think that's something that we might end up doing. But if they end up tapping out and then not leaving up enough mana for mana drain, then we'll certainly go for that. All right, so I'm going to go for Oracle. Now, we can still end up going for D-Spark. And I think I kind of like that. That's going to be Dovin for next turn. Because that'll get rid of Atraxa. But yeah, if they just have access to Oracle, that's just not going to be good for us. So let's go for a D-Spark. We're going to exile Oracle. Hopefully we can force this mana drain from them. And that'll clear the way for us to go for Niv-Mizzet Reborn, because Oracle is very good, and especially in a deck like our opponent's, or a deck like ours, where, you know, you just need to make as many land drops as possible. So let's see if they want to end up trading that mana drain in for Oracle. Okay, so we're going to exile Oracle. That's not going to get them to bite. We're going to crack Flooded Strand, just to kind of... Yeah, let's go ahead and crack Flooded Strand. And I think we'll just go ahead and grab Watery Grave. I think that'll be a good option. So we're going to grab Watery Grave, have that come into play tapped. Not going to pay 2 life. And then let's see what we draw into. So we do have Niv-Mizzet going into that open mana drain. Not super wild about that. Ooh, Heroic Reinforcements. Okay, so if we just go Niv, that's going to force mana drain. And they've got Dovin on top of their library. That's going to be Dovin and Atraxa for next turn and getting that Proliferate going. Is that what we really want to force? But we just can't, you know, be afraid of mana drain the entire game. Now, if we end up going for Niv-Mizzet, that's going to get the commander tax going. We don't have enough mana for that. So I think at this point, let's just go Sentinel Tower. It's going to be 3 mana. And what we can do with this is, at least, you know, if they want to burn mana drain, that'll at least leave us an open Niv-Mizzet. And once we have an open Niv-Mizzet, hopefully that'll allow us to have it enter the battlefield. And maybe we can get lucky with Manamorphose. You know, one of the cool things about this deck is that we do want to try to storm off with Thousand Year Storm. If we can get Thousand Year Storm, it ends up being really good. But there's just still some times to where we can end getting down something like Turnabout. We can get Frantic Search. We can copy some of those cards. And then once we kind of start to chain together some of these really nice value spells, we can actually still kind of combo off without having to go for something like Thousand Year Storm. Or you can see we've got the Sentinel Tower to stick. And that's going to give us the opportunity to at least kind of, you know, chain together some goofy stuff. But we still at least need to keep that mana drain in mind. So now they've gotten to the point to where they can at least still get down Atraxa. And actually, they're going to go for Dovin. Still kind of leave up that that mana drain. So they go for the, actually, -1, you gain 2 life in the draw card. Okay, let's see what we draw into. Draw into Badlands. So we go Badlands. So we're still staring down that mana drain. Yeah, and let's just go ahead and force the issue. If we get Niv-Mizzet to stick, awesome. You know, maybe our opponent's kind of worried about something else. It's going to be red, blue, yellow, we got green, and then black. So we're at least going to see if we can't get stick. So we're going to go for Niv-Mizzet. They're waiting for that mana drain. Hopefully we get lucky next turn to run to another land and we can try to do this again. So I'm going to go for, there we go. And we can deal 1 damage. Yeah, we're going to send that 1 damage over to Dovin. That's going to give them a bunch of colorless mana. We're finally going to see that come down, but we finally got out from underneath the seal of that. That's just something that we just can't play around for the rest of the game. So hopefully we can get down Niv-Mizzet, find ourselves a few other options, and then kind of go from there. Now with this Storm deck, you know, this is a 5-color Storm deck, and it's very... We're trying to do some busted things sometimes, and so a lot of the times you kind of build like a glass cannon deck, especially with this one. But it's a lot of fun. If we can get Thousand Year Storm to stick, we can get some really good stuff going. Now let's see if this is finally going to get Atraxa to enter the battlefield. They are using that colorless mana, so 7 mana. Let's see what's in store for us. Okay, so they went for Sphinx Revelation, which is a beautiful thing to do with mana drain. That is a very good way to kind of utilize that mana. And we'll see what else they end up tapping out for. We haven't really seen a ton of counter magic other than mana drain and cryptic command. So maybe this is a little bit more of a value-based deck, but maybe we can get some good stuff going for next turn. And with the instant or sorceries, yeah, we just need to chain a few more stuff together before we can really end up getting a good Sentinel Tower going. But hopefully, fingers crossed, we run into the lane drop. That'll be Niv-Mizzet. We can get some good get some good card advantage. All right, so we run into Void Slime. I think at this point, we're simply just going to go ahead and pass the turn over to our opponent. If they end up cracking that Polluted Delta, we could maybe end up going for Polluted Delta Void Slime if we wanted to. That's going to cut them back on mana 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That'll put them at 6 mana, and they may not feel comfortable going down there. But then if they make the land drop, then they can just go right over there. But let's see what they're tapping out for. All right, they're going to go for Recoil. And so we're going to go send 1 damage up top. Let's go Void Slime in response to that. We're going to go Void Slime. It's going to be double blue and tap for 1 more green. So we're going to counter Recoil, send that extra Sentinel Tower damage up top too. And we're able to keep the tower alive and flowing, and that's one of the main things you want to do with this deck is keep that tower going. But thankfully, our opponent hasn't gotten down a ton of planeswalkers. There's sometimes when you play against Atraxa, they get so many planeswalkers going that it's just brutal. Now at this point, we could try to mana Morphos and get an extra Sentinel Tower, but this card just really gets stuff jump started. So we'll see what our opponent kind of has to show for it. Now, one of the ways that we do win this deck, we have Mizzet Mastery. So let's say that we draw into Mizzet Mastery. We're not going to win the game right away with Mizzet Mastery, but it is nice being able to have that that option to basically just kind of cast stuff. Ooh, Maelstrom Pulse. Okay, so we can finally get rid of that. But it is nice to kind of have that exile effect out of the graveyard sometimes, just casting all the spells at once. And now we're at the point where we can just really get in our opponent's face. So hopefully we hit that lane drop for the turn. Come on. There we go. Beautiful. We're going to go Scalding Tarn. We're going to crack Scalding Tarn. And we'll see exactly what we're going to grab. I think at this point we're just going to grab another red-white source. That'll be pretty good. So we're going to go Volcanic Island. Let's see if we can't get Niv to stick this time. Okay. We're going to try to get Niv to enter the battlefield. They've got 5 cards left in the hand. Snapcast. Oh, brutal Snapcaster on Mana Drain. Okay, so that's going to get rid of Niv-Mizzet. The only good thing is maybe they just, if they had a counter spell, they probably would have burned it this turn, but I can definitely see the value from going Snapcaster and Mana Drain. So they're going to get rid of Niv-Mizzet, send him back to the command zone. So now at this point, we almost need to run into Ancient Tomb, but I don't even know if we have it in here because this is a 5-color deck. So hopefully we can get some sort of amplifying turnabout effect or copy effect and end up with storm something like Heroic Reinforcement. So it's pretty cool. Now our opponent ends up going they go for Yawgmoth's Will. So that's going to allow them to really start chaining some good stuff out of the graveyard. So let's just go and let them kind of get this turn resolved, and then we'll see what ends up happening. Ooh, and they bounce Watery Grave with Recoil. So I think what we'll get rid of is we'll get rid of Sundering Growth, because that's not anything we can really do with Sundering Growth. Okay, so very fruitful turn for our opponent. They cash in that Mana Drain Snapcaster. They got Dovin and Liliana on the battlefield, and they put a Render Silent on top of their library. So let's see what we draw into. This is not looking good for us at this point, if you want the honest truth. So we may have to end up burning this Mana Morphos, because the longer we sit back with Render Silent, that's one of those cards that if the turn we do try to storm off, they're really going to be able to kind of stop something like that. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so Urban Evolution. We've got Mana Morphos. I guess if we're going to do anything, let's go and Shock in Watery Grave. Yeah, we're going to pay 2 life. Let's go for Mana Morphos. And that way we can add blue-green to our mana pool. We're going to be able to cash in another card draw. Let's add blue-green. Drawn to Coalition Relic. Not exactly what we wanted to see. Let's go 1, 2, 3. Draw 3 cards. Okay, so that is, well, I mean, it's better than nothing. So I guess we just end up going Signet. And then anything else we'll pass turn, because now that kind of actually puts us in a spot to where we're able to at least kind of get a little bit of card advantage going. We can go for Hydroid Krasis. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That'll at least be 3 card draw and 3 life gain. So if we can actually end up going for Hydroid Krasis, the cool thing about that is that that is a cast trigger. So with Hydrocrisis, you know, even if it doesn't enter the battlefield, it's not like, hey, when it enters the battlefield, draw a card. It says whenever you cast this spell, we gain that life and get those counters going. So that's something that we can still get down, even if they want to end up going for that render silent on Hydrocrisis, we'll still at least be able to cash in some sort of card draw, and especially now that we're trying to, you know, build up some sort of mana rock for our board state, and just get a little bit ahead on mana. Now we do have about 2 turns or 3 turns with Liliana that we do have to watch out for, and so, but at this point, you know, being able to Hydrocrisis a few extra lands, that's not too bad. And you know, this is Atraxa versus Niv, so you know, what else would you expect in a kind of a grindy match like this? Kind of like it. All right, so we got Snapcaster swinging in for 2. If we can run into some fast mana, Soul Ring, Mana Crypt, that might actually kind of help our game plan too. So let's go ahead and go Hydrocrisis. So going to be able to proliferate, and actually with the proliferate from Atraxa, that's really going to kind of help them get towards that ultimate. So we almost kind of need to get something going on this next upcoming turn. So let's go Hydrocrisis. Yeah, because they proliferate, that still puts us on Assassin's Trophy for next turn. So let's go Hydrocrisis. All right, so X is going to be 6. We're going to gain 3 life. We're going to be able to draw 3 cards. And at the same time, we're going to be able to stop Atraxa from swinging in. All right, so Enlightened Tutor, Cerebral Vortex, Assassin's Trophy, and then Wooded Foothills. So, you know, at this point, we're just trying to hit some land. So let's go Wooded Foothills. And that's going to put us on Fact or Fiction. We can Enlightened Tutor for 1,000-Year Storm if we wanted to, but once again, there's going to be that render silent. So we might end up trying to do is we might try to end up going for Enlightened Tutor during our opponent's upkeep. The Swords to Plowshare on Crisis. Okay, that's going to send that back to the command zone. I'm trying to figure out what we can grab that'll really kind of help us out with Enlightened Tutor. Yeah, let's still just go and do this during our opponent's upkeep. So let's go and crack Wooded Foothills. Let's grab Plateau. Let's go for Enlightened Tutor. And if we're going to go off next turn, we need to go off with as much mana as possible. So we're going to go Enlightened Tutor. We're going to search for Mana Crypt. There we are. We're going to grab ourselves. We could grab 1,000-Year Storm, but we're staring down that render silent. It's just going to be hard for us to do anything with that. So let's go Mana Crypt. That's going to go on top of our library. Because what we can do with render silent is we don't have the best hand right now. We can just try to go for Mana Crypt, and if they end up going for render silent on Mana Crypt, then we can just still try to chain together something like Cerebral Vortex and then a few other of our instant speeds. We still have Fact or Fiction because with the proliferate with Liliana, they plus that up, and they're gonna be able to get that ultimate, those zombies, going pretty soon. So we're gonna have to try to close it out next turn, however we can. But that's kind of one of the fun things with playing a 5-color Storm deck is there's just sometimes where your back's against the wall and you're like, okay, well, we've got a combo off, and then sometimes the Magic Gods treat you well, then other times the Magic Gods are like, hey, it's not today. So we'll see what sort of day it is. Let's let our opponent get this turn going. Okay, so we're going to see Teferi into the battlefield. So what they can do with Teferi, they can +1, and that's still going to give them the opportunity to untap up to 2 lands. Probably not going to see that -3. The only thing they can really go for would be the Simic Signet, and that's probably not what they want to do. So they're going to be able to untap 2 lands, cash in a card draw. They still have the activation from Dovin to draw a card, gain a couple of life. And so, this game, odds are we're probably not going to close it out next turn, but we're going to try. But if we had Sentinel Tower on the battlefield, that would definitely make it just a little bit easier to try to close it out. Because once you kind of start chaining some good stuff together with Sentinel Tower, it ends up being pretty fun. So, okay, so they're going to untap 2 lands. That's going to be Teferi, Liliana, and Dovin. And that'll put us on render silent. But like I mentioned, we can still kind of get around render silent. The thing that we need to do is kind of force them to use it on a spell that we don't want them to use it on. And then we'll try to storm off from there. So we're going to draw into that Mana Crypt. Let's go Mana Crypt. Let's see if this is going to stick. All right, so that does end up working. Let's force the issue. Let's go Assassin's Trophy. Yeah, I think I kind of like that. So we go Assassin's Trophy. We're going to go Assassin's Trophy on Liliana. That way we can just stop the ultimate. And hopefully that'll kind of draw out that render silent. No, excuse me. They just straight up went for it. So, all right. So that's going to get rid of that render silent. I was thinking they would try to dodge it. But we might, the rest of this stuff, we might just try to do this during our opponent's turn if they're going to just kind of let this go through. So we're going to stop that ultimate. We're going to just go Coalition Relic. That's going to be an extra, we can put a charge counter on Coalition Relic, get that extra mana during our upkeep, and then, yeah, we'll simply just go ahead and pass the turn. So we might end up going Fact or Fiction during their upkeep. That'll at least kind of force the render silent option that they want to go for. And with Fact or Fiction, hopefully we can kind of grab something just a little bit better. Or if we end up going Fact or Fiction at their end step, that'll be something that we can, yeah, let's do that. I think I kind of like that idea just a little bit better because they have a ton of mana over there. So we're going to go Fact or Fiction doing their end step, probably in response to the Teferi trigger. That way, hopefully we can get it to resolve. If they deploy everything out of their hand, that'll give us the opportunity to maybe get it to stick and get a few extra things in our hand. But we're definitely digging, trying to get this done. Ooh, they're going to have Deed come down. X or less, so they can just wreck our entire board simply just going for 3. So let's go Fact or Fiction. Yeah, that's going to force us to end up going Fact or Fiction. Reveal the top 5 cards of our library. That gets rid of Mana Crypt. It's not the best thing, but in fact, let's see how they want to split this pile up. And I think at this point, we're just going to take, because Tendrils of Agony is nice, but well, if we're going to close the game out, yeah, might as well just grab a Storm card. We need to have some sort of option. So we're going to grab Tendrils of Agony. Kind of wanted to grab Prophetic Bolt, but if we get in this spot to where Storm is kind of like a triggered ability, so if we can get Tendrils of Agony to let's say somehow we Cerebral Vortex, we hit all the cards that we need to see, we get to copy some cards, we can somehow Tendrils of Agony, I don't know. Anyway, having a Storm card in our hand versus not having a Storm card at least gives us something to do. It kind of gives us a very, very small plan like C instead of plan A. Okay, so our opponent ends up going for D. That's going to crack the entire board. That's going to give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's going to give us 8 mana. So we are really strapped as far as what we need to do with Cerebral Vortex. And our opponent did get down Nile Spellbomb, which, yeah, that's okay. It's not the end of the world that they exile our graveyard. But we're basically staring down a Teferi. They're going to get the ultimate. They're going to be able to go for that -8. And so unless we can go off next turn, then it's not looking good. But shout out to our opponent. This has been a really good game back and forth. That Mana Drain Snapcaster was just so backbreaking. That was really kind of where the game took a different turn. When you can get a game like this where everything's so just, both of us have the fingers on the nuke button, when you can get a Mana Drain to resolve, that is a really good, really good amount of value you can get for your side of the board. Okay, so let's see what we draw into. Hopefully a free spell, Frontier, which is not going to do much. So we go Frontier. Let's go Cerebral Vortex. Probably going to see this countered, but we're at least going to try and give it our best. We're going to go for Cerebral Vortex. Target player draws 2 cards and deals damage equal to the number of cards. That'll be 3 cards. And then Life from the Loam and then Riku. Yeah, that is not going to get it done. And I think at this point, with us staring down the Teferi Ultimate, return a creature you control. We have no creatures. Heroic Reinforcements. We could at least go to Heroic Reinforcements to knock Teferi down to 1. But, yeah, I guess now if they counter it, then we're going to scoop up. Okay, there we go. Because we can at least still swing in. We're going to go Heroic Reinforcements. It's going to be 2 white soldiers. I give them +1/+1 and give them haste. Now if they end up going for Render Silent, oh, there we go. We can get it to stick. So we're going to go and swing in 2 at Teferi. That way we can at least kind of let them not just immediately have that ultimate with Teferi. Okay, so they're going to go Abrupt Decay on one of those, and once they end up going for the Atraxa block, we're going to toss the good game up, because that is, we've seen enough. Good game to them. They're going to be able to close it out. We're going to go scoop this one up. You can definitely see where we put it's turn 13. We got a ton of stuff going. We had a lot of cards in the graveyard. We tried to build the Storm action going, but unfortunately our opponent, we're playing against an Atraxa control deck. This is not really what this deck wants to see. It can dodge a little bit of hate. It can dodge some counter spells, but if you're playing against a true control deck, this Storm deck is just not suited for the long game. We want to go off on turn 6, turn 7, turn 8. We want to start chaining some stuff together. The longer we go on, the longer we have to kind of build up spells in our hand, the longer that, we're casting this huge boat of a creature, Niv-Mizzet, into an open mana drain, even though we don't want to. We just kind of have to break the seal on it. It's just really hard for us to generate any sort of board advantage or board state for us to really kind of progress and to win the game. But good game to our opponent. That was a very well played game, and just really cool way to play Atraxa. Typically you see Super Friends, but this was a very good control build of Atraxa. So if you want to take Atraxa in a control way, this is the video for you to watch. So if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.